Welcome to the Royal Road School of Carmelite Prayer. St. Teresa of Avila tells us that the divine path of Carmelite or silent prayer is the royal road to heaven, and that those who travel it will be given a great treasure. A link to the Praying with Teresa of Avila website has been provided below to enable you to easily find the catalog of offerings on this channel, along with today's topic, taken from the life, the starting point, Class 2. The website provides all the simple tools that you need to develop your own practice of Carmelite or silent prayer, along with complete course materials to start your own school of prayer in your parish or community. The starting point, taken from the life, Chapter 2, Class 2. I began to deck myself out and to try and attract others by my appearance, taking great trouble with my hands and hair, using perfumes and all the vanities I could get. And there were a good many of them, for I was very fastidious. There was nothing wrong with my intentions, for I should never have wanted anyone to offend God because of me. This great and excessive fastidiousness about personal appearance, together with other practices which I thought were in no way sinful, lasted for many years. I see now how wrong they must have been. I had some cousins who were the only people allowed to enter my father's house. He was very careful about this, and I wish to God that he had been careful about my cousins too. For I now see the danger of intercourse at an age when the virtues should be beginning to grow with persons who, though ignorant of worldly vanity, arouse a desire for the world in others. These cousins were almost exactly of my own age, or a little older than I. We always went about together. They were very fond of me. And I would keep our conversation on things that amused them, and listen to the stories they told about their childish escapades and crazes, which were anything but edifying. What was worse, my soul began to incline to the thing that was the cause of all its trouble. At first, I believe these things did me harm. The fault, I think, was not my friends, but my own. For subsequently, my own wickedness sufficed to lead me into sin, together with the servants we had, whom I found quite ready to encourage me in all kinds of wrongdoing. Perhaps if any of them had given me good advice, I might have profited by it. But they were as much blinded by their own interests as I was by desire. And yet I never felt the inclination to do much that was wrong, for I had a natural detestation of everything immodest and preferred passing time in good company. But if an occasion of sin presented itself, the danger would be at hand, and I should be exposing my father and brothers to it. From all this God delivered me in such a way that even against my own will, he seems to have contrived that I should not be lost, though this was not to come about so secretly as to prevent me from gravely damaging my reputation and arousing suspicions in my father. I could hardly have been following these vanities for 3 months when I was taken to a convent in the place where I lived, in which children like myself, though less depraved in their habits than I, were being educated. The reason for this was so carefully concealed that only 1 or 2 of my relatives and myself were aware of it. They had waited for an occasion to arise naturally, and now as my sister had married, and I had no mother, I should have been alone in the house if I had not gone there, which would not have been fitting. For the first week I suffered a great deal, though not so much from being in a convent as from the suspicion that everyone knew about my vanity. For I had already become tired of life, the life I had been leading, and even when I offended God, I never ceased to be sorely afraid of him, and I tried to make my confessions as soon as possible after falling into sin. At first I was very restless, but within a week, perhaps even earlier, I was much happier than I had been in my father's house. All the nuns were pleased with me, for the Lord had given me grace, wherever I was, to please people. So I became a great favorite, although at the time I had the greatest possible aversion from being a nun. I was very pleased to see nuns who were so good, for in that house they were all very good, completely blameless in their lives, devoted to their rule, and prudent in their behavior. Yet in spite of the devil did not cease tempting me, and my friends outside tried to unsettle me by sending me messages. And that was not allowed. It soon came to an end, and my soul then began to return to the good habits of my earlier childhood, and I realized what a favor God does to those whom he places in the company of good people. It seems as if His Majesty was trying again to find a way of bringing me back to himself. Blessed be thou, Lord, who for so long has suffered me. Amen. Questions to consider. What are the predominant personality characteristics in this adolescent, Teresa? Take an inventory of the different people surrounding Teresa and their influence on her. What image does Teresa have of God at this time in her life? Amen.